Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to On the Mic with the M.
Auntie.
Today's discussion is going to be changing yourself and changing the people around you. Um, to me, that's the hardest thing that people do is they know they have to make a change, but they don't want to really go through the real work to make the change. And that means you have to change the people around you too.
Right.
And that could cause a lot of issues, especially if you realize what you have to do. If you got a lot of bums around you, it should be easy. But I'm saying that and them doing it is two different things because I know they're a bum and you
Right.
know they're a bum. But you're like, you know what? I know these bums
Yeah.
and I know that I'm comfortable around them.
And
But
I enjoy them. I enjoy to a certain extent, right? I enjoy the lifestyle that I've engaged in for however long or however amount of time that I've engaged in this lifestyle. To a certain extent, I find pleasure. I enjoy myself to a certain extent here,
mm-hmm,
and that's why I've been here in this place for as long as I have.
mm-hmm,
Right. So when we speak um of that change, a lot of us are mindful that sometimes you have to be uncomfortable in order for there to be change. So when you see the person who can, find some bit of pleasure or comfort or happiness in their situation, and then you're like, but why, if there's this wrong and then there's that wrong, why can't they change?
mm-hmm.
Normally, you don't change from something that's comfortable or
Nope.
pleasurable. So as long as whatever you're doing feels something that we can label as pleasurable, happiness, comfort, it's hard to change. Absolutely.
And that hinders growth.
Well, yeah, yeah.
And then people complain about, well, you know what? I'm not happy where I'm at, and I don't know what I can do. And really, you do know what you should do. You just
Mhm.
don't have the guts to do it.
Yeah, because it's like the small bits of gratification, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's not necessarily instant gratification, right? You went to work, you worked for 2 weeks, and then you got, a paycheck, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Um, to you, you're not as happy as you could be because perhaps you want a larger paycheck,
Mm-hmm.
um, but you still got paid, and you put in a decent amount of work, and the work wasn't anything that was instant, so you know that you did what you at least was taught to do.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I'm not too, you know, unhappy there, right? I could do better.
You could do better. And the thing is, at what point do you realize you're in a rut? Just in life, a rut that you kind of go into the motion. You get up every morning, you brush your teeth, you take a shower, you do what you do. You talk to the same people, you go to the same job, and you're like, I want better.
Mhm.
But you just like you don't want to take the chance to do better because that means you're going to take work to do better.
Mhm.
But
Yeah. So that's a hard one. How do we realize when we're in a rut in life, right? And
yeah,
it's, I mean, we're gonna always struggle to identify that because I think for a man and a woman, is it a little bit different when we realize that we in that rut?
for a guy, we pretty much know. We kind of we settle. You get up. It's a routine. You get
Mhm.
up. Like I said, you get up, take a shower, get yourself ready, go to work, do what you got to do, come home. It just becomes norm.
Okay.
But you know in your head like it's got to be more than this.
Mhm.
But you're so comfortable, like you said, comfortable with what's going on. But because if I change it, then how's that going to upset the apple cart? How's that going to make me feel? But as you said before, growth is uncomfortable, and I think as we progress in this journey called life, there is a point where you kind of say, I'm cool with this. But for me, you always got to keep striving to become better,
Mhm.
because that's how years pass you by. You got the same old deadbeat friends. You're cool with them because you know them. Uncle Boo Boo and your boy Tay Tay and them, they're funny. They're
Yeah.
good dudes. But
Yeah.
would you take Tay Tay to a function, to maybe some sort of functional black tie affair? If you say, hey, bring some of your boys to that particular type of affair, would you bring them?
Mhm.
Hell
Mhm.
no. Because Tay
Mhm.
Tay ain't that type of person that deals with that type of environment. He's cool
Right.
right here, we're kicking it. maybe at the barber shop or some liquor store or somewhere, McDonald's parking lot or whatever. But I'm not gonna have that dude roll with me when I'm talking to somebody else at a different level, and you know it's a different level. Because if you didn't know, you were like, "Oh, well, come on," but
Yeah,
you're
you
gonna
would have thought of him immediately. Uh huh.
exactly.
Absolutely.
And we just have to somehow say, you know what, we can't be happy with status quo, because eventually status quo is going. You're gonna turn around and look and say, "Damn, I've been doing the same damn thing for years, and I'm not progressing. I'm getting older, but I'm not
Mhm.
progressing."
Mhm.
And then you have people, naysayers that you surround yourself. Let's say you try to do something different.
Right.
Those same people that you hang with, gonna say, "Why you want to do different? Ain't you cool? You happy? Look, you got a job. You got this. You got that." And after a while, they don't want you to move. Why? Because they understand if you move, then you may not be in that same under that same umbrella anymore.
Yeah, and in order to, continue to hang out with me, at some point, I'm going to expect you to step up to the bar,
Mm-hmm.
right? Step up your game just as much as I am.
Mm-hmm.
Because, you're hanging out with the people who you almost consider yourself with as equal,
Mm-hmm.
right? When you think about who you surround yourself with, um, in grade school,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
High school, those are the people who you kind of feel like they're just as equal as you are. They can run around and play and do exactly what you can do, even in your college years.
Mm-hmm.
So the very idea that you wouldn't want to keep that status quo up, so to speak, as you get older and progress through life, it's a little bit of a weird concept.
Yeah. How do women handle that? I mean, do you retain
Um,
now? From what I hear, women don't have really close relationships.
So that's where you kind of see the woman who kind of has the group of ladies,
Mm-hmm.
right? Different sets of friends,
Mm-hmm.
in my opinion. And for the most part, I think we're okay with us having different sets of friends.
Okay.
You always have that very close set of friends that transition anywhere you go,
Okay.
right? They're the girls who probably been down with you the longest, but they truly are transitional, so to speak. Like, so if you do need them to kind of dress up and play the part, they will literally just play the part for that night.
Okay.
Don't give them too much to drink because they'll crack under pressure. Like, because they are just playing that
Oh,
part,
that's true.
and they
That's
can keep
true.
it up just for a little bit. But you do know that if it came down to it, there are a certain set of friends that you've acquired along the way that represent, a certain side of you.
Mm-hmm.
So when it's time to show that off, you know who to call.
Mm-hmm.
You know the few to call.
Mm-hmm.
Because you're not going to call them all up for every old thing. There's certain friends that you probably don't even want to take back home around the way, quote
Oh,
unquote,
that's true.
because they'll be,
Yep.
you're like, girl, please. But you don't mind her because she's your friend, but you also kind of cater to her where she technically belongs, and vice versa,
Mm-hmm.
right? They'll treat you the same exact way. And in our opinion, we're not making anybody be anything that you're not or don't want to be. Um, just love me for who I am as a
Okay.
friend. Take me as I am, and I'll take you right for who you are as well.
Okay.
Um,
Okay.
but don't be upset when I don't invite you to certain things
Mm-hmm.
because you know that you don't
Fit.
fit there. Yes.
Now, here's another question. Let's say you get to a point now where you know you have to make changes in your personal life. You look around, you say, "Listen, I'm about to do some things
Mhm.
that it's going to take me totally out of my comfort zone, and my friends may not understand what I'm going through,
Mhm.
but I have to go through this."
Yeah.
Would you explain to them what you're going through, or you just be going through what you're going through and allow them to kind of see the metamorphosis of where you're trying to go?
It depends on the person and the type of support that you already know they're going to be able or not able to give to you. If you feel like you have to draw away from, a certain group of people, you'd probably just blame it on something else,
Mhm.
right? Like, I kind of have to do this because of work,
Mhm.
or, I'm kind of going through something because of me and my, guy friend or boyfriend. We love to blame stuff.
Yep.
The men don't necessarily hide behind their lady friends as a transition, but that's technically our favorite. Is to pretend
Okay.
like, oh, me and babe is going through something, or, me and my love wants
Oh
to try to do
Lord.
something different. We're trying something different with our finances, so we're not.
Okay.
Or you might
Okay.
not see me for a year because, I'm gonna stop answering my phone because I'm technically bunned up. So you just think I stopped answering because I got a new guy type of thing. But I probably went back to school and, instead of me saying, girl, I ain't really got time for you and all your nonsense and shenanigans, I'll probably just transition into a new set of friends, as I should be,
Yes.
because I don't have time to pick up the phone and talk to you because I'm studying, and now I'm out on my study group with these new people, and
Mhm.
eventually these new people, after we're done with the study group, we'll go out to get something to eat, and eventually we'll create bonds
Mhm.
and form new friendships and continue on to our next journey in life. It
Mhm.
doesn't mean that I don't love that person I left behind. It's just where I'm going to and headed, you didn't necessarily get on the bus with me, and that's okay.
That's
I,
true.
I love you still, but when I look to my left and I look to my right, you're just not there anymore,
Mhm.
and I'm okay with that.
Cool. Now, here's I'm going to go here now.
Mhm.
That's cool with friends. What happens when it comes to family? How do you handle that when you know you're about to go through some changes, and then you
Hmm.
got your family involved? You have to tell them, or they you may have to. There may be an issue. They
Mhm.
may be
I
the
gotta
issue you're
think on
trying to.
this one. Keep on going.
Yeah, they may be the issue that you have to deal with because
Mhm.
again, I go back to an earlier discussion when I said people you're brought up a certain way, and however you're brought up, you're brought up. But when you get to a point and say, I have to make a change,
Mhm.
that means you may have to go back and tell the same people who raised you that you didn't raise me correctly. Be honest with them, and they
Mhm.
may not take that too well.
Yeah.
So you may have to walk away from them to do what you need to do. How do you feel
Mhm.
about that?
Ah, man, we gonna pray on that one, that love conquers all, right? I mean,
Yep.
cause in these situations, sometimes you don't separate and engage in the growth out of love, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because what I want to say is, if I sat my mama down, if I sat my daddy down, if I sat whoever
Mm-hmm.
you're growing away from or apart from, if I was able to sit them down and have a rational conversation about what I'm going through, where I came from, and where I'm headed, and that was all done out of love,
Mm-hmm.
then maybe, we'd get something different.
Mm-hmm.
But normally, that growth comes out of anger and an incident
Yes.
or some type of occurrence.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's why I started off by saying prayerfully love conquers all, because I don't know. We just hope that when it's all said and done, that who's ever all parties involved are able to find themselves right back to family,
Yes.
because the beginning of it all and the end of it all, that's still your family. You
Now
can let go of the friends.
that's true. Now here's we're going to have a little deviation. For me, family and relatives are two different things.
Let me
Uh,
hear about it.
for relatives, you really have no say in it. You just pop up, and that's your uncle, such your aunt, blah blah blah. That's your mom, your dad, and all the other people pieces associated with that. To me, they are relatives until they become family. They're not family off the top, and that's
Okay.
over years of kind of going through some things. Family is going to be there through thick and thin. They're going to support you in whatever you do. They may not like it, but they're going to support you. Relatives they're just there. They're
Mhm.
not really. They're going to just be there. They're related to you, but there's really no other connection other than blood. So I always say I have relatives, gang of them,
Right.
family, handful of them,
Mhm.
and I think once people kind of realize that delineation, they can move forward in their lives and decisions that they make. But they feel like, well, I can't. That's my cousin, so I really can't, you know, treat them this way. Oh yeah, you can.
I don't really know, Malcolm, because the relative side to me, it sounds like as you grow, they would just be the people who just kind of hear about it through the mail. So they wouldn't count.
They
Like, so
wouldn't.
if I'm graduating or if I'm had a baby, they'd get an announcement card in the mail. They
Oh,
not
you gonna give them an
necessarily,
announcement card?
even if that's what I'm saying. They're not necessarily even
Oh,
getting an
okay.
invitation to the baby shower. They just kind of heard about it through Facebook type of thing.
True. But think about you. Okay, for instance, you got a lot of cousins you grew up with,
Yeah.
and now would you consider all of them? Well, they're related to you, but would you consider all of them family in the term that I use, family, or just relatives? As you grow up, you grow up
You
together.
trying to disrespect all my cousins?
Hell yeah,
Come
dude.
on,
Listen,
man. That's my
if them,
family.
that's
bro.
your relative. Those are relatives.
That's my
Listen, if those Bamas, if you don't know, listen,
family.
there's Bamas I grew up with, and again, love them to death, but
Right.
they're relatives to me
Yes.
because we ain't closer than I know their name, I know their mama name, and all
yeah.
that.
We talk once or twice a year.
Yeah, family
Okay.
reunions, funerals,
Okay.
maybe pass in church, maybe now and then on
Try
the
to
street
make
or
us
something
all
like that.
distant. We not that distant, but we just not that close either.
We ain't that close. We ain't that close at all. We related. But then
Yeah.
you got the ones who you grew up with, and it's a connection that happens, and those are ones that you find yourself still talk to. Here's
The
an
ones you raise
example,
your kids with.
and the ones your kids know about, because again, you know the relatives are the ones you talk to them like, hey, how you doing? Fine, and you? That's good.
You introduce your kids every time y'all see each
Yeah,
other.
every time. I
Okay.
swear he grown. Yeah, you haven't seen him in 8 years, so yeah, I guess he has grown since the last time we saw him at 1. Now he's 9. Yeah, he is growing, and pretty much that's it. That's what it's
Yeah.
like. Well, I hope everybody. How's our sisters doing? How about? And then you.
Yeah, those the type. That's what I'm saying. Those people, are we growing away from them because they never get that close to us?
No, we don't.
Yeah.
And the saddest thing is, by being that way for whatever reason. I mean, it could be you look at life differently. They could be it's street people. They love living in the streets, and I ain't that street person. I'm about the books and all that stuff. That could be the difference. It could be you live a certain lifestyle. I don't. But I wouldn't invite you to my house.
Yeah.
If I see you, I'm gonna holler at you, but I'm not gonna ask you where you live at and all that stuff. I'm gonna get your phone number. We always say, it's bad we see each other only this, and you're like, yeah, you're
But
right,
y'all
you're right.
always say it.
You always
Don't
you
do nothing about it.
No, nothing.
Never exchange the phone
Nope,
number.
never, and
Yeah.
you're not going to. And then there's family members who you don't talk to every day, but when you talk to them, it's like you just talked to them yesterday. You may not talk to them in 8 months, but you talk to them 8 months later, it's like you just saw them yesterday.
Yeah.
And that's the connection you would have.
But see, that's the connection that when you grow away from family, that when you make your way back, that's that love conquers all thing, right? So whatever happened in between us, whatever falling out, whatever I had to do or you had to do in pursuit of your next step in life, we have that connection, and that when we make our way back to each other, we still just as connected.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like I said, this whole thing this journey called life is unique because you have to make a lot of decisions that just not gonna make people happy. And I think a lot of people don't make decisions because of not because they don't want to make the decision, is because they in their head say, well, if I do this, how are people gonna look at me? How they gonna react to me? How they going to, I know I need to change, but I don't want to change so much that I lose my comfort. Well, you have to because that's how you grow, is to become uncomfortable. But that's why a lot of people can't grow now, and then they keep blaming other people why they can't grow. Like, if it wasn't for this or wasn't for that, I'd be.
I mean, it's the very idea that some people think that they're going to lose their roots, so to speak.
Wow.
Right? They forget that.
Wow. They're gonna lose their roots because they're making a change.
They forget where they come from, so to speak.
Oh, you mean
whole
that?
idea. Yeah, no, you forget where you come from. You kind of go from being, a modest around the way person to being bougie, or now you've become distant. When life opens up your eyes to certain things, you start protecting yourself differently.
Yes.
So when people start, saying you grew away as opposed to, you just kind of grew up. Sometimes life opens up your eyes and tells you, no, you better protect yourself, because as you grew up, you started acquiring things that other people want. And
Yes.
that means now you need to kind of protect yourself. And sometimes that means that no, you do still go back to mom's house for the cookouts as opposed to hosting them at your own home, which may be a little, larger and more comfortable for everybody. But
Uh huh.
you don't really need everybody in your home.
No, you don't. You really don't, and that's
Mhm.
unfortunate though, because
It
that
is.
also kind of weakens a lot of the bonds we have. Because and I go back to the point when we was growing up. When I was growing up, everybody was broke. Ain't
Mhm.
nobody had no money.
Mhm.
Everybody was on the same ship. So
Mhm.
it wasn't that point of someone's better than or they have a little bit more money than you. So we all were all our cousins. We're all the country. We all were dressed the same way. Down there in the country, just having a ball. Because again, nobody had nothing
Yeah.
in the context of what we have today. But let somebody get $1. Oh Lord, they're the best thing. They think they're better than everybody in the family. But you ain't really making no money. But
Mhm.
that just kind of goes back to what, who do you? If money is what makes you think you're better than someone, or that you're another level than someone,
Mhm.
that pretty tells me you're pretty shallow. Because you're looking at the money aspect of it. Because I know quite a few people like, I got this, this, and this, and then really in a bigger scheme of things, you ain't really got nothing. But they just, want to say I'm better than, or I went here, I went there. That don't impress me. And I work
Yeah.
here and I work there. That don't impress me. But I know a lot of people, they wrap their whole life. If you ask, who are you? Oh, I
Mhm.
own this, or I own that.
See ya.
All right, see ya. I own this and I own that and I got
Bye.
this. And in the whole bigger scheme of thing, I don't really care what you got. I don't
Yeah.
really care. My thing is, who are
Well,
you as a person?
well, first of all, how we introduce ourselves. What's your name and what do you do for a living? We've
That's
created it to where what you do for a living kind of defines who you are.
that's pretty bad.
Right? If
That
you
is
think about
really
it,
really
when you
bad.
enter a room full of strangers, how we break the ice is we first start off with our names,
Mm-hmm.
and then most of the times it's what you do for a living.
Wow.
And that's the money piece of it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because whatever occupation you list off, then we kind of gauge your salary in the back of our mind, right? So
That's true. That is
we
very
start
true.
gauging
Like,
the salary, and then also like your level of intellect to get into that job or
yeah,
position or that career field.
that's true.
And so you really do start to get defined by money. So yeah,
And that's unfortunate, because
it
then
is.
that kind of goes back to how you view people. You
Mhm.
don't that person may be a sanitation engineer or garbage man by another
No, I
name.
like sanitation engineer. We
Okay.
go. I love it.
They're a sanitation engineer, and you look at them like, so you pick garbage up all day long. Well, hey, it's money in garbage.
Absolutely.
It's really money. But that goes how we view people, how we
Mhm.
look at people based on what you do,
Yes.
and how you treat them based on what they do.
Mhm.
Which is kind of like, you have to look at people anyone who treats someone a certain way based on what they do. You have to think to yourself like, oh, if I was in that person's situation, would they treat me that way?
Yeah.
But you don't think about better than me, because
Yeah.
I know I ain't like that. But again, as this pandemic has shown you, you could be riding high in that six-figure job, and next thing you know, you at Denny's
Yeah.
bringing food to the
Yeah.
table.
Because your job is not needed anymore.
Exactly. So now it's a self-worth. That goes back to
Yeah.
knowing your worth,
Yeah.
knowing your self-worth. And I think a lot of people really don't. They really don't know what they're worth. Their
Mhm.
worth, everybody's worth. Let me just say this: everybody's worth something. You're not worth less. You're worth something. But you can't allow society to tell you, because you're only making this amount of money, that amount of money, you ain't worth. You don't need that
In
kind of
other
person.
words, you're following someone else's path or needs in life to define who you are. We all need to make and earn a living, um, but that's not supposed to define you along the way. And it's certainly not supposed to stop you from doing the things that you kind of love to do,
Mm-hmm.
right? Which are supposed to define, who you are in life.
That is so true,
Yeah.
because when you have to deal with people again, and I go back to Kevin Samuels. He was talking about the high value and all that. To me, that's just kind of I won't say the tip of the iceberg, but it's kind of like it's another discussion. To me, it's more of what's your self worth.
Mhm.
You shouldn't. I shouldn't need a woman making six figures to make me feel good about myself, or striving for a person with six
Mhm.
figures.
It's like why are we defining the high value man the way that we are?
Exactly.
Because perhaps it's our definition that we have off. Because why wouldn't I want a high valued man? And why wouldn't I consider myself a high valued woman?
And think
That's a
about it.
bizarre.
Yeah. Well,
Why wouldn't I want the
yeah,
best?
exactly. To be honest, there was
Bye.
something that came out in uh, Google, and
Mhm.
it said 6% of all Americans make over $100,000 a year.
Oh wow.
Six. So
Yeah.
if you're saying I want a high value guy, which if you say I want somebody making six figures,
Mhm.
there's only 6%.
Mhm.
Now, of that 6%, that's overall. Now, if you start to really narrow it down to African Americans and guys who are unmarried and guys who are gay, guys who that number drops way, 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 way down to maybe I don't know 2%, maybe.
Okay.
So to me, it's not even feasible to say that you can even get a high value using that quotation man because there's not that many of them.
Mhm.
So it's almost like why do we put so much emphasis in money than to say, hey, why don't I find me a good dude, a
Mhm.
good guy,
Mhm.
and
Who is financially responsible? Because to me, I think we covered this in our very first show when
mm-hmm,
we spoke about, how money just runs out. And when you spend to the max, when your household is just spent all the way, I don't care if you make 10 grand a month, $5,000 a month. If your household bills are what you make or
mm-hmm,
more than what you make,
mm-hmm,
you're still in the rat race.
very true.
So it is a crazy idea that we put so much emphasis on what someone else would consider to be the high valued man.
Yeah,
That's a bizarre concept.
it really is. To me, it should be more of a guy who's I would consider a good guy. He works hard
Mhm.
every day. He's
Mhm.
trying to do the best he can, and all he really needs is some support. I mean,
Mhm.
guys in general just want to feel like, hey, someone supports me and loves me.
Yeah.
We won't never say it, but
Yes.
we just little appreciation from the
Yeah.
hard work and everything. But if you're a guy who's like that and you keep running to the same type of chick who just want to use you constantly
Mhm.
because you
I
can't you
mean,
allow them to.
it's the very idea of how we raise and groom people, right?
Mm-hmm.
Your parents don't just give and give and give to you for the sake of you giving nothing in return.
True.
So how can we go into a relationship and pour anything into the relationship without getting something back in return? So for the man to show up for the woman
Mm-hmm.
and give whatever he is given,
Mm-hmm.
whether it be money, whether it be his energy, whether it be his attention, and then he feels like nothing is given back.
Mm-hmm.
Um, no, that's a problem
Mm-hmm.
because there's no relationship um, where someone takes that is natural, right?
Yes.
Where you're just the taker in the relationship. Because ultimately, the thing that you're taking from, if it's nothing feeding that,
Mm-hmm.
it dies.
True.
And so, whatever you're taking from, you always have to give something back to it to keep that relationship going,
Mm-hmm.
right? Um, yeah.
Wow. Yeah, it's yeah, and I think that goes back to we really, really gotta have a real conversation on what are we really looking for. I mean,
Mhm.
for women, what are you really looking for in a
Mhm.
guy? Are you just using for a guy that's just gonna take care of you, or a
Mhm.
guy you really want to get in a relationship with and say, hey, I can help him. We can help each other grow. I think there's so many games that are played in the beginning because again, like we said before in the very first one, you look good, I look good.
Mhm.
Okay, outside of that, where are we going? And people stay in relationships for years and don't even know where they're going. Just together. Just we travel all the time. We do things together. We're all over the place. We
Mhm.
do this, that, and other thing. We got a house. People have bought houses together, ain't married.
Oh,
People do this. They get into. They do everything but get
that's
married.
interesting. Everything but marriage.
Everything but marriage.
Nah, that's. I don't know. That's almost like we grew two separate trees instead of one. So to speak.
Yes.
We were definitely there, and we were definitely growing. But did we grow together, or did we just coexist? Because generally speaking, I would want a man to intertwine himself so heavily into my life that if he's no longer, I'm just keeping it real here. I'm just gonna keep it real. That when he leaves, oh, I'm gonna notice it. Oh, I want to be uncomfortable. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
If my man is not present and I have done something to where he's like, oh no, she need to get herself, because women, sometimes we gotta get ourselves together. Okay? But we should have grown just a relationship where, and vice versa. Because if he lets me go as well, I'm going to want to know that, oh, he's coming up short in several places because we're so intertwined in each other's lifestyles that, on that random Sunday morning where, it's a holiday and his mom knows Tamara comes through and does X, Y, and Z. And, he thought he was carrying me. Oh, now his mother going to remind him that, where's your girl at? Where's Tamara at? And vice versa. My dad's going to be out there on the barbecue thinking that, my guy is supposed to be carrying that bag of briquettes over. And guess who's not there?
Yeah.
Because we should have been growing together to where we intertwined our lives in such a way that when one of us is missing, the other one feels it.
Yes.
I want to feel that he's not present. That's just me.
I would
That's
think so.
just me. I want him to have a little bit of dependency on me, and I would like to have some on him.
I agree. I do agree, because again, if that's the case, then to be honest, at that point, you should have much more of a commitment at that point.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Rather than just going through the motion of.
Because you just said we're buying a house together.
We're buying a house
Some people
together,
buy
and you still ain't married.
Home together, and that's where it's like, did we choose to not grow together? Was that a choice that we said, you know what, we're going to cultivate our lifestyles separately, but just keep the financial burden of things together? Like, did we come together just to ease a financial burden?
Wow.
Because in today's lifestyle, living is very burdensome to a lot of people. Just something as basic as rent.
Yes.
I saw a post on Facebook that said rent got a lot of people staying together nowadays.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And so
That's
for a
true.
man to have someone go half on the bills, first of all, for women.
Yes.
For women.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
Because a lot of us, I'm sure I'm not even trying to pay half.
Nope.
You know how women are.
We ain't trying to pay nothing.
I could do the light bill and electricity.
I buy the food.
I'm
I buy some nacho chips. I got that. I got something on that.
I got groceries and the insurance. Which way we going? Because we doing this together now. But the men even be like, okay to that, because that's some bit of the burden that has been lifted when we decide to cohabitate. But is that supposed to have been the reason that we got together, or were we supposed to come together because we had opted to grow together?
And that's when communication is going to be key, because it changes. Because again, situations start off one way and it navigates, go to another direction. But along the way, you need to communicate that.
Yeah.
And for men, we're just not going to talk. We're just going to as long as ain't no issues. And, we don't hear
As long as there
no issues.
are.
We don't hear a damn thing unless it's like blah, 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 money. What
That's
money?
Simple. That's just simple.
Yeah,
Just simple men.
that's just
As
simple
long as
guys.
there are no issues, that I'm all right.
I'm good. As long as I can come home and turn the TV on. Oh, wait a minute. The electric off? How the electric go? Because in his head, it's like everything should be good. Because I
Yeah.
took care of this, took care of that. Everything we should be on point.
Yeah.
But at some point, we could be, I'm speaking for not all men, some men become very comfortable with that lifestyle.
Mm-hmm.
So as long as you don't ask for, what we're doing, I'm good.
Yeah.
Now, when you start saying what we doing, now I probably never even thought about it. I might have thought about it in the beginning, but now it's going on pretty smooth. Well, I ain't gonna rock the boat. I'm gonna go ahead and ride with this. So it's up to you, for you guys, to say what we're doing.
To make a certain requirement.
Yeah, because you should not be having kids, getting married, all this stuff, ain't got no papers, none. And then you're like, well, what we doing? Well, you already did it. You talk about you already got babies.
What we doing though? That's what I'm trying to figure out. Are we gonna walk down this aisle now that I done did it all?
There you go. And then now, when all that happens, and you ask him that question, watch the look on his face. Yep. What? We
already did it all.
We already did it. So why you complicated it? Why what? Now again, that means it's so crazy because in our heads like, oh, this is real.
Yeah.
And you gotta ask yourself, you've already gone through the process. You living together, living together, got kids, everything's all intertwined, electric bill in everybody's name, and so what are you gonna do?
What you gonna do different?
And it's up to you guys to put a time limit on. I said, I can't. We've been together 8 years. How much longer are you gonna take for you to give me a ring, or make this?
I mean, I'm trying to get my finances in order though.
How long are you gonna take
That's the thing.
How long is that gonna take? Oh, girl, you know what? I could buy you a ring, but my money ain't right. We just bought this thing. We just got this. We got that.
Yeah.
You're gonna want a big ring.
Yeah. Oh, you want a big house?
Yes.
I gotta get the down payments together for that. That's
there
gonna
you
take
go.
us some time.
We got got to take time to do all that.
Yeah.
And I think that's where a lot of people run into issues when they realize that, damn, I'm tired myself up a lot with this person. Family know him, relatives know him, everybody know him, girlfriends know him, everybody know him. But y'all ain't doing, when you gonna make this, up and up. And to be honest, for me, it'd be like, listen, we can just go to justice of the peace. But women they don't want justice. No.
Y'all go again being simple. That was the simple option.
Yes.
Let's just go wake up on a Thursday morning and go to the justice of peace.
There you go.
Yeah.
Why we perpetrating? We already got a family. We got bills in our name. Got everything in our name right now. So why I gotta go in and
we don't have no nice photos.
Okay, I'll tell you what. we go stand by some pool or stand out and go somewhere or for vacation and take some pictures.
That's not enough. My dad has to walk me down the aisle.
Okay, where was your dad when we was building this house and and doing all this other stuff? Where was Daddy at that point?
I would like to be traditional now.
Oh, then we'll be traditional.
Yeah, now I'm be traditional.
After we got babies and a house and everything, so now we want to walk back. So you want to wear a white dress?
Absolutely, I want to wear a white dress. Absolutely.
You mean not an off-white?
Oh,
not a black one or purple
my
one?
dress is not going to be no off-white. I'm coming in there pretending to be pristine. Yes, I am.
Oh,
Pardon
Lord.
me.
See,
Pardon me.
Okay, so so at that point,
You don't like the idea that the modern woman is okay with having children before marriage and still wearing the white dress? Is that what you're saying?
I think
You're a white dress hater? Is that what you're saying?
I'm not trying to be. I'm just gonna say, based on how we were brought up, that the white dress meant purity. It meant that you was gonna walk down the aisle to this untouched virgin, this beautiful creation of God who's just gonna give herself to me. So I shouldn't expect her to be tainted or spoiled by the time I got there.
Okay.
So if our little kid is a flower girl or a flower boy,
Stop it. Stop it. Don't do that.
see, they tossing flowers and stuff. The purity is now gone because why? The little boy and little girl walking down the aisle throwing flowers and throwing other stuff. So why perpetrate?
It's our child, though.
It is. It's our
It's
child.
our child.
But still, how you gonna wear a white dress?
You took the purity away from. It's
No, you gave it to it. You gave the parent.
Okay.
Okay. It was a give and take.
No, it was a gift. I gifted it to you. Okay. Then you took your gift. Okay. And now we're going to reenact it, I guess. I'm wearing this white dress because I don't even get a chance to wear white at any other point in life. Like,
Yeah,
when
you know
do
what?
I get to wear something like white?
You could,
Why you want to take that from us?
that's a good point. I mean, I would hate to pour that from you. It just seems so. I don't want to use the term sacrilegious, but it's almost like, oh, look at this version. This is beautiful woman walking. All this white. Look at her. Whoo! It's just the white is just. Everybody look like, she ain't no damn virgin. Look at her.
So what color would you suggest?
Off white.
Oh, okay.
I'll say off white.
Okay.
Because off white is you're not pure. In the
You're being petty at this. He's being petty at this point.
You're not pure.
Give me a little taint. Give me a little tainted on the dress.
Yeah. So
off white.
Yeah,
Drop a
so
little bit of
off-white,
mud on it.
Just a little bit, just so you're a little
So
tainted.
everybody know what you did to me. That's why. That's
Well, they already know the baby walking in. The baby walking, tossing flowers, talking about, oh, look at that baby walking in. Because you know somebody gonna say, what the hell is she wearing a white dress for? She done got 5 kids and everything about five kids, about 6 different dudes. Look at that. What the hell is she wearing a white for?
Oh man.
So you're like, okay, it's how you perpetrate. I don't know how we about digress to the white dress, but I think as long as you're trying to make each other a complete unit, I guess that's ultimately what needs to happen. But women, y'all need to tell what y'all want, because we're not going. First of all, again, if I keep getting the milk, I'm not gonna keep asking where the milk coming from. I'm gonna keep saying thank you for the milk.
Thank you
I
for
appreciate
running
it.
from that topic. Thank you. That was cute because you got my jaws hurt. Wow. Laughed so hard. Thank you.
I'm
Run
sorry.
from the subject.
Yeah,
We're wearing white, ladies.
Okay.
We're still wearing white, and yeah, with our kids. Did that.
Jeez.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Okay, with the
I'm sorry.
kids.
Yes, we are.
And rightfully so. But you know,
But why? Why will you not show up? Because I'm all that in a bag of chips, right?
Mhm.
And you got me, and we're married, and we're not married, and we have this house. Why do you not want to go there? Why I have to require that? Why are you not afraid that somebody else is going to come snatch me up?
well, here's
If
the
I'm,
thing.
but listen,
Mhm.
and a bag of chips. I'm all that and a bag of chips.
Listen, you're all
okay?
that in a bag of chips,
Mhm.
but you know what? You're all that in a bag of chips in my house. You
Okay.
live with me. You're not living on your own.
Okay.
So to me, I'm like, oh, well, she's committed to me. So in my head,
So you don't see any threats.
now if you live
That's
with
what
me,
you're
no,
saying.
I don't.
Okay.
Now, if you have your own spot, there's always a possibility. I call. Man, you ain't there. What the hell she at? She ain't with
Now
me.
you-
She ain't home. So what's going on? So now you start to think the crazy way. You gonna get in your car like, I know she gotta be over there. Maybe her phone. And you tell yourself, maybe the phone died.
Okay.
Maybe.
Don't come to my house. Go to Jared's. You need to go. Don't
Oh,
come to my
no.
house. You better go to Jared's to get that ring.
I tell you what may
Go
happen
get the
if I go
ring.
to your house. I don't see your car there. I'm like, wait a minute.
The thought process.
She didn't tell me she was going on. She told me you could be home, and now your car gone. Now I'm running crazy. Like,
Okay.
oh shoot, who's y'all with?
Look,
That now.
but if you could just go home, pull up, she at home, it's y'all home, y'all share the home.
We're good.
You okay? You
I'm
don't
good
have
with
to
that.
take a trip to
I
Jared's.
ain't got to worry about it because I'm good because, again, you're there.
Okay.
You really took it out of my hand because, again, you're not making me work for it because I'm there. I wake up, you're there. I go sleep, you're there. So, and you're not saying nothing. So I'm like, hey, you must be happy. So
You must be committed.
You got to be committed to me. So, like, cool. I ain't got to go through all that and, blah, blah, blah. Now, the moment you say, listen, I need a ring, depending on who he is, I mean, if you're a guy that says, I'm waiting for her to say something, he may even be that guy that say, I'm going to buy a ring. And he
Okay.
may somehow pull it on you. I use 8 years as an example because within 8 years, you should pretty much know if she's the person or not the person, because
Still decided.
still decide. And what if she's the one? Well, at that point, if you bring it up to a guy, most guys will probably say, you know what, let me go ahead and do the right thing. Another guy may say, well, why now? And when you hear that, why now? He never was gonna marry you.